American versus Japanese motorcycle engines. One needs rebuilds at 50,000 miles with perfect care. The other hits 200,000 miles neglected, yet the unreliable one outsells its rival 4-1. And I'm about to show you why everything you think you know about motorcycle reliability is backwards. The American motorcycle engine philosophy. Let's start with the rumbling V-twin that sounds like controlled thunder. When Harley-Davidson designs an engine, they're building character, a philosophy unchanged since 1909. The cornerstone is the air-cooled 45-degree V-twin. Take the Milwaukee 8-114. You're getting 1,068 cc delivering 119 foot-pounds of torque at just 3,250 RPM. It only makes 93 horsepower. A Japanese sport bike with a third of the displacement makes double the power. Wait until you hear what they actually engineered. An engine that gives you massive torque before your tachometer even wakes up. You can lug this down to 1,800 RPM in top gear and it'll pull without complaining. American V-twins prioritize displacement over revs for effortless cruising power, not screaming red lines. The air-cooled design is controversial. When every Japanese manufacturer uses liquid cooling, Harley stubbornly sticks with air-cooled heads. Why? You get simpler engineering, distinctive sound, and iconic cooling fins. They run hotter, less efficient, produce less power per cubic centimeter. Harley knows they don't care. Simplicity means fewer things breaking, and your mechanic doesn't need a computer science degree to fix it. Coming up, the Japanese engine with 0 catastrophic failures in police fleet service. American V-twin durability isn't about engines never breaking. It's about being easy and cheap to rebuild when they do. You're looking at an engine designed with serviceability in mind. Pushrod valve trains mean you adjust valves without specialized tools. Large, accessible components mean you work in your garage with basic hand tools. The architecture hasn't fundamentally changed in decades. There's a century of accumulated knowledge. The trade-off? These engines vibrate like a paint mixer. That 45-degree V-twin creates a distinct firing order that sounds amazing, but required Harley to develop rubber engine mounts and counterbalances to keep frames from cracking. But that shake is part of the experience. Visceral, mechanical, reminding you that you're riding a machine, not an appliance. What's your take on this topic? Do you prefer American or Japanese for reliability? Comment below and share your views. The Japanese motorcycle engine philosophy. Now, let's talk about what happens when engineers from a country with expensive fuel and cultural appreciation for precision redesign the entire concept. Take Honda's CBR 1000RR Inline 4. You're getting just 998 cc, half the Milwaukee 8, but you're making 189 horsepower, half the displacement, more than double the power for your right wrist. It achieves this by revving to 13,000 RPM, using dual overhead cams with 4 valves per cylinder and liquid cooling so efficient your engine stays at 195 degrees even on track. Here's the controversy. Consumer Reports shows Japanese bikes with failure rates 1/3 that of American bikes. Not opinions, documented data. The Japanese philosophy extracts maximum efficiency from every component. When Honda builds an inline 4 for you, every piece is optimized for high RPM operation. You get titanium valves weighing grams instead of ounces, connecting rods CNC machined to micron tolerances. Your crankshaft balanced so precisely, these engines run smooth as a turbine at 10,000 RPM. They designed for longevity without constant intervention. A Honda Goldwing's 1,833cc flat 6 gives you valve inspection intervals of 16,000 miles versus Harley Sportster's 10,000 miles. The Honda doesn't need frequent attention because it's engineered with greater margins from the factory. Wait till you see the touring bike mechanics buy for themselves. Coming up in the high mileage examples. Yamaha's CP2 parallel twin in the MT-07 delivers 74 horsepower while achieving over 50 miles per gallon for your wallet. That 270-degree crankshaft gives V-twin rumble with parallel twin efficiency. Your valve inspections come every 26,600 miles, and most owners report never needing adjustments. That's designing out problems before they occur. Kawasaki's Ninja ZX-10R spins to 14,000 RPM stock, with race teams running 16,000 RPM for entire seasons. The secret? Meticulous attention to detail. You benefit from steel alloys and crankshafts costing 3 times as much but lasting 5 times longer. Japanese engines are objectively more durable by every measurable metric. Longer lifespan, fewer breakdowns, lower maintenance costs. But longevity isn't everything, and that's where this debate gets interesting. Displacement versus RPM strategy. Here's where we get into why these engines are fundamentally different for your riding style. American manufacturers choose displacement. Japanese manufacturers chose RPM. Both work, but create completely different engines. Harley's Milwaukee 8-131 displaces 2,147 cc and redlines at just 5,500 RPM. You're moving lots of air very slowly. The advantage? You get massive torque right off idle. 6th gear at highway speeds, twist the throttle, your bike accelerates without downshifting. The disadvantage? Big pistons create enormous reciprocating mass. Weight moving up and down thousands of times per minute, stressing every component. Honda's CBR600RR displaces just 599 cc but revs to 15,500 RPM. Smaller pistons means less reciprocating mass, so components in your engine experience less stress per revolution. The oversquare design, bore wider than stroke, allows high RPMs because pistons don't travel as far. Coming up, the maintenance cost comparison that'll change how you think about expensive bikes. Here's what most riders don't know. Japanese engines rev high because of valve train design. Harley uses push rods. A cam at the bottom pushes a rod actuating a rocker arm opening the valve. At high RPM, that long push rod flexes and bounces, causing valve float. Japanese manufacturers use overhead cams sitting directly above valves in your engine, eliminating push rods entirely. This allows reliable operation at RPMs that would destroy a pushrod engine. Indian's Power Plus bridged this gap with a 108 cubic inch V-twin using overhead cams and liquid cooling instead of air. You get an American V-twin making more power and running cooler than a Harley. But it costs more to build, requires complex maintenance, and purists argue it abandoned American philosophy chasing Japanese specs. The displacement strategy gives you another benefit metrics don't capture: engine braking. When you roll off a big V-twins throttle, that massive displacement creates significant engine braking. You can modulate speed through corners using just throttle, barely touching brakes. Small displacement Japanese engines freewheel by comparison. Engineering approaches and reliability secrets. Let's talk about what actually makes an engine reliable for you, because this is where marketing myths die. American V-twin reliability is based on simplicity and repairability. A Harley Big Twin has fewer than 300 moving parts. Fewer parts means fewer things breaking. The pushrod valve train refined over a century. No surprises when you're wrenching. When something wears out, it's predictable and fixable in your garage. Wait until you see which engine police departments ran for 150,000 plus miles with zero internal work. Here's the controversial truth. Harley engines require more frequent maintenance by design. You're looking at oil changes every 5,000 miles, primary fluid every 10,000, valve adjustments every 10,000. This isn't poor engineering. It's a maintenance philosophy expecting you to perform regular service. Japanese manufacturers designed the maintenance out. Honda's Goldwing targeted 16,000-mile valve inspections because they set clearances with margins that keep valves in spec far longer. Many Goldwings go 100,000 miles without valve adjustments. Here's the Mythbuster. Forums call the FJR1300 high maintenance. Actual failure rate, 0.3% per year. That's lower than any Harley Sportster at 1.2%. Yamaha's FJR1300 uses counter-rotating crankshafts and gear-driven cams. Most bikes use chain-driven cams that stretch over time. Gear-driven systems don't stretch. They outlast the entire motorcycle. The counter-rotating crankshaft eliminates gyroscopic precession, making your bike more stable while reducing crankshaft stress. Kawasaki's ZX14R produces 200 horsepower, yet routinely sees 100,000 plus miles without major work. They build everything stronger than necessary. Pistons handling more stress than they'll ever see. Rods thicker than power demands. Crankshaft balance tighter than required. The most dependable motorcycle engine ever? Honda's ST1300's V4. Police departments ran these 150,000 plus miles with just oil changes. Honda combined moderate displacement, 1,261 cc, moderate RPM, 8,500 redline, liquid cooling, and shaft drive. No change to adjust, no excessive heating stress, just methodical engineering. Maintenance patterns and costs. Let's talk money, because reliability means nothing if maintaining your engine bankrupts you. A Harley Softail Standard starts at around $15,000. Honda's Rebel 1100 starts at around $9,500. Harley costs you $5,500 more up front, but the real cost difference emerges over 50,000 miles. Harley's intervals means you're at a dealer every 5,000 miles for oil changes, every 10,000 for major service. You're spending an average of $1,200 per year on maintenance for 10,000 annual miles. Over 5 years and 50,000 miles, that's $6,000 from your pocket. Coming up, the hidden depreciation factor that flips this entire cost equation. Honda Rebel owners follow a different schedule. Oil changes every 8,000 miles, valve checks at 16,000 miles, major services every 16,000 miles. You're spending around $500 per year. Over 5 years and 50,000 miles, that's $2,500, less than half the Harley cost. But here's the complication. Those are maintenance costs, not repair costs. When your Harley needs work, parts are everywhere and cheap because aftermarket support is enormous. A big twin top-end rebuild costs around $400 in parts, $800 in labor if you can't DIY, maybe $1,200 total, extending your engine life by 30,000 miles. When your Honda Inline 4 needs internal work, you're looking at $2,000 plus because parts are complex and labor intensive. The critical difference is frequency. You might rebuild a Harley at 50,000 miles while your Honda might not need internal work until 150,000 miles. Here's the controversy nobody talks about. Indian Power Plus engines require $800 to $1,200 valve services. That's Japanese complexity without Japanese durability track record. Zero long-term data. The hidden cost factor? Depreciation. Harleys hold value better than any Japanese cruiser. Your 5-year-old Softail retains 65% of value, while a 5-year-old Honda Shadow retains maybe 45%. You pay more in maintenance, but lose less in depreciation. Run total ownership numbers, and they're surprisingly close. Longevity and high mileage examples. Now let's look at real-world longevity affecting your buying decision. The numbers tell a fascinating story. The highest mileage Harley I could verify belongs to a Wisconsin rider who documented 375,000 miles on an Evolution engine. Impressive, right? Here's the context. He rebuilt your top end 3 times, replaced pistons and rings twice, rebuilt the transmission once, replaced the primary drive twice. Still impressive, but required significant ongoing work. Compare Dave Barr's Honda Goldwing touring 6 continents, covering 260,000 miles with 0 engine work. Just oil changes and valve checks, never requiring adjustment. Or Honda ST1300 police bikes routinely exceeding 150,000 miles with nothing more than scheduled maintenance. That's the bike mechanics buy for themselves. Wait until you see which discontinued bike is worth more now than it cost new. Yamaha's FJR1300 has multiple documented examples over 200,000 miles. One Norwegian rider hit 300,000 kilometers, 186,000 miles on original internals. Another UK owner documented 240,000 miles before selling, still running strong. These aren't rebuild engines, original components just doing their job. Kawasaki's Concours 14 has similar stories. Multiple owners documented 150,000 plus miles with zero issues beyond normal maintenance. One Canadian rider posted 289,000 kilometers, 179,000 miles, on his original engine. High mileage V-twins can absolutely achieve massive mileage, but require attentive maintenance and occasional rebuilds. The design philosophy accepts that major components will wear and need replacement. It's not a flaw. It's how your engine was designed to live. Here's the controversial reality. A Harley owner says 200,000 miles. The frame has 200,000 miles. The engine, second or third top end. A Honda owner says 200,000 miles. That's original internals. Victory Motorcycles tried to build American cruisers with Japanese reliability. Their Freedom V-twin used single overhead cam, liquid cooling, and modern fuel injection. Owners reported far fewer issues than comparable Harleys, but Victory failed in the market because buyers didn't want Japanese reliability in American styling. They wanted the full American experience, including the quirks. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn for your future bike purchases. For decades, manufacturers built engines using completely different philosophies, but in the last 15 years, they started copying each other. Harley-Davidson introduced the Pan America 1250 in 2021 with a revolutionary engine for Harley. You're getting a liquid-cooled DOHC 60-degree V-twin revving to 9,000 RPM. It's basically a Japanese engine wearing a Harley badge, and it's more reliable than any air-cooled Harley ever built. You get less maintenance, more power, cooler operation. Harley engineers admitted they studied BMW's Boxers and Ducati's V-twins to design it. Here's the banned engine controversy. Harley's XLCR in 1977 tried Japanese overhead cams. Failure rate was so catastrophic, Harley nearly bankrupted. They couldn't replicate Japanese precision manufacturing. Indian went even further with their Power Plus engine. You're getting liquid cooling, overhead cams, and Japanese engineering principles. The result is an American V-twin that starts easier, runs smoother, makes more power, and requires less maintenance. Meanwhile, Japanese manufacturers are moving toward American-style personality. Yamaha's MT-09 uses a cross-plane crankshaft from MotoGP. This creates an irregular firing order, sounding and feeling like a V-twin's pulse, despite being an inline 3. They deliberately engineered in emotional appeal earlier bikes lacked. Honda's Africa twin chose a 1084cc parallel twin with 270-degree phasing, mimicking V-twin character while maintaining Japanese reliability. It's a direct response to criticisms that Japanese bikes were too sterile, lacking soul. Kawasaki's H2 supercharged engines represent yet another convergence. American-style brute force with Japanese precision engineering. You get 228 horsepower with forced induction, but Japanese reliability standards. The controversial truth? Pure American or pure Japanese engineering philosophy is becoming extinct. Modern emissions regulations, global markets, and rider demands are forcing convergence. Today's engines blend American character with Japanese reliability. Harley's Livewire Electric represents the ultimate conversion. Electric motors have no displacement, no pistons, no valves, none of the mechanical philosophy that defined these engines. It's a clean slate where character is programmed and reliability is determined by batteries. Here's what matters. American V-twins offer visceral connection through big displacement, low RPMs, and engaging maintenance. You're not just riding, you're wrenching. Japanese engines deliver precision, high revving power, and longevity that laughs at neglect. Start it, ride it, forget it. Both are dependable, just differently. Harley riders value experience over efficiency. Japanese riders want confidence over character. Neither choice is wrong. The best engine matches what you want from two wheels: rumbling soul or bulletproof efficiency. They're both engineering excellence, answering different questions. That's what makes motorcycles damn interesting. Which engine philosophy are you betting 200,000 miles on? Drop your answer below. I'm reading every single comment.